Hello everybody, so this is the second day of the series reading book, and today I will keep reading the novel The Twinkling Star Khuê in the part 2. So this is a historical novel by writer Nguyễn Đức Hiền. The story tells about the life of Nguyễn Trãi, a hero of Lam Sơn insurrection from 1417 to 1427, who helped Lê Lợi to defeat the Ming invaders. So, as the previous past, we have read about the story about Nguyễn Thị Lộ, right? And today, we will keep reading the next part. In this part, we will know more about Queen Mother Nguyễn Thị Anh. Around the end of the fourth watch, the whole capital was soundly asleep. Everything was shrouded by a very dense fog. From this side of Lake Zumdam, Lake of Fog, another name of West Lake, looking toward the quarter of the imperial city, without the flickering lights of the watchtower, on the Đoạn great porch, the straightforward gate, it would be impossible to discern the different parts of the capital. At this hour, the 3-year-old Emperor Nhân Tông was sleeping, not on his gilded bed with legs in console, but in his hammock of purple. This hammock, a magnificent piece of art, was unparalleled achievement of 30 skilled artisans of the back-tack, 100 operations, imperial workshop, who preserved for 6 months to accomplish so much detail. The interior of the hammock was lined with rose brocade, embroidered coiled dragon's ornaments ornamented the edge of the lining. Its 2 flounces were bordered with fringes of tinsels and twinkling pearls. The hammock was hung on supporting brackets made of rhinoceros horn. It occupied a corner of the western room of the Vạn Phúc 10,000-fold happiness palace, which communicated with the palace of the Queen Mother by a vaulted gate. 12 young girls, clad in multicolored silk, were divided in groups and posted by rosters near the precious hammock. The Queen Mother had carefully chosen them among thousands of odalisques in the harem. They had to be young, beautiful, gracious, and have a sweet voice and a soft gait. They also had to be experts in preparing dishes, presenting flowers and fruits, decorating lanterns, sewing and embroidering, as well as in knowledge of music, singing and dancing. Moreover, they had to know how to take care of the little emperor and show an intelligence equal to their tasks. They had to thoroughly know his eating and sleeping habits, and accurately guess his desires at the least movement. They had to know when the sweet taste of the antelope milk was to be reduced, when to replace the bath water scented with 5 fragrant plants with rainwater aromatic with the stamen of the lotus flower. And when the window blinds were to be rolled up to let the sunlight flood into the room, their obligation was to serve this celestial sun Was not every king a son of the emperor of Jade? He had to be absolutely satisfied with all he wanted. Now the emperor was sleeping. To maintain his profound sleep, a song adapted from Champa music was played instead of the popular lullaby of the country. The queen mother softly approached the hammock, drew aside the gauze, and looked at her soundly sleeping son, who was snoring lightly, his chest rising up and down. Then she came to sit down in her large sculptured and gilded armchair. Since the demise of her august husband, she was always dressed in white mourning clothes, even when in bed. White veil on her diadem, white tunic and shirt, white belt and slippers. She could have been a white marble or a plaster statue. Only a small brilliant black spot was seen while she smiled. She raised the corner of her lips, revealing overlapping canine teeth, as black as shiny as custard apple brains. Her appearance made one shudder with cold. When she raised her eyes, one could see two sparkling eyeballs. In fact, she had extraordinary eyes, the right eye being much bigger than the left, full of kindness and warmth when the eyelashes were closed. But they became cruel and wicked when she looked straight and raised her eyelashes and eyebrows, throwing out icy and sharp glances. At first, faced with these eyes shaded by long lashes, Emperor Lê Thái Tông had initially decided to take her to the harem, but then, amazed and shocked by these white eyeballs, he hesitated. The father of the younger explained, "Sire, as you know, according to physiognomy, a human being has indications on their body that foretell their destiny. Some are worse and some are better. Some beauty spots predict a noble situation, a fastidious life. Such strange eyes denote the face of the first lady of the state. My daughter is but a country girl, yet she has the precious sign of strange eyes." This encounter occurred when the imperial cottages stopped overnight in the village of Bố Trạch in Đông district, Thanh Hóa province. The young emperor was seduced by the girl's flourishing vernal youth and by the rich man's words about invaluable indication. The girl became superior wife. Her father, the father-in-law of the throne. Since the ultimate farewell when the emperor returned to the world of fairies, the queen had not changed from mourning clothes. She went twice a day to the temple of the imperial cult, burned joss sticks, made low bows, and cried. She painfully wept, as if she totality of the love and suffering of all the widowed wives of this world could not equal the sentiments she felt for the late emperor. At this hour before the end of the night, seated by her son, now emperor already, she did not look at anybody with her strange eyes. She looked straight to her heart. The events had happened so quickly. Is it I who have accomplished so many horrible things? I beseech that the spirit of the emperor my husband, of all the emperors of the dynasty, all the wise ghosts would examine my case with indulgence. If I had not eliminated that old mandarin who had been as stubborn as a mule, how could a widow like me put on the Queen Mother crown? And I am the Queen Mother, the most powerful person of the country, governing the whole empire of Đại Việt on the throne behind the blight. Or am I dreaming? She bit her little finger. Ouch! She startled with an acute pain. It was real, evident, no possible doubt. She opened her eyes and looked around. Before her, an emerald perfume, pan in the shape of a Buddha hand Sichin, exhaled a pleasant smelling smoke. Behind her, in a large vase of Chinese porcelain, a rock sculpture presented a mountain with very small bamboos. This mountain, in miniature, was called ɛflɚː.nəl, mountain of 10,000 years longevity. It had 5 peaks with a name for each, which the great scholars of the Oriental Pavilion had carefully searched for in the canonical books of Buddhism. Oh my goodness, this is the hard word. On both sides of the Queen Mother, 2 maids were kneeling on the marble floor, carrying a tortoise shell tray on each head. On one tray was displayed a very small stove and a tiny kettle for the preparation of tea. On the other was a bowl of boiled ginseng. Near the carved, lacquered, and gilded platform supporting the armchair of the Queen Mother, a secret trap door opened the way to a large and multi-branched underground corridor. It was named ɛflɚទ្ធ, the way of absolute security. Well lighted all along, it led to the private room of the Queen Mother. Eunuchs and chamberlains had feasted and gambled, and who knows what else, in those tunnels. The Queen Mother was impatiently waiting for the arrival of the great chamberlain. That time, these bizarre audiences were only held in the private apartments of the Empress, and of course in the strictest secrecy. Of obscure origin, that time was a profligate, pleasure seeker, passionate lover of songs. He spent his time frolicking at theaters and playhouses, surrounded by woman singers. Lương Đăng, Minister of Rights, and a distant relative of Tạ Thanh on the maternal side, believed that Tạ Thanh was well versed in music and had him admitted as a member of the imperial orchestra. Yet, this debauched person could not play any musical instrument. As a post was vacant in the imperial guard, the minister appointed him to the place. So the good-for-nothing began his rascally career. Lương Đăng had his own schemes. Tạ Thanh was chosen to be the eunuch of Khuê, another superior wife of the emperor. Very quickly, he won her favors and became her closest agent. A reveler, a gambler, an embezzler, He had been involved in various crimes, but he was always safe thanks to Hui's protection. When the latter lost her position and was excluded from the harem, he addressed a long petition to the throne, denouncing all the culpabilities of the woman he had served as a slave. He did not hesitate to add most impudent, slanderous accusations. Nguyễn Trãi, as a high dignitary at the court, told the emperor, "Your Majesty, Tạ Thanh had strictly obeyed the orders of his mistress. He had always praised her to the skies. Though a rough, he was protected by her, and she heaped riches and honors on him. Not only has he no compassion for his disgraced benefactress, on the contrary, he made contemptible allegations against her. He has revealed his nasty soul and his meanness, which are incompatible with the ethics of a reign in which peace, order, and prosperity prevail. He belongs to the type of people who live on rice but do not deserve to be human beings. They don't know the ethical principles of men. Your Majesty should not pay attention to his allegation, and he must be severely punished." The emperor objected. It was curious. Would it be conforming to ethics to lay bare all the possible faults on the culprit? "Yes, sire," which I answered. "If it were for a good person, one would repress one's personal feelings. Yet the villain is not counted among such people." Yet, curiously, the emperor mysteriously appointed Tạ Thanh to the service of superior wife Nguyễn Thị Anh. Tạ Thanh became her man of confidence. In all her doings, she confided in the eunuch. Whether he was actually castrated or not, no one knows. She agreed to what he said and gave him many responsibilities. The two contemptible characters were as alike as two drops of mud. Nguyễn Thị Anh was promoted to be the first superior wife of the emperor, and Tạ Thanh to be the great chamberlain. One could easily understand her diabolical intention of suppressing Ngọc Giao, another superior wife who had given birth to a prince, while she did not yet have a male child to be presumptive heir to the crown. She had inveterate hatred for Nguyễn Trãi and Nguyễn Thị Lộ because they had saved Ngọc Giao and her son. She rolled her furious eyes, stamped on the ground, and swore, "As long as Nguyễn Trãi remained alive, we would never be able to raise our head. We must." The eunuch had laughed flatteringly on that occasion. "Augustine, it is entirely up to you." A vague rictus pulled her thin lips. Trãi and his relatives were no longer in this world. But why had the blackguard not come yet? Just at this moment, Tạ Thanh edged into the room with sleepy eyes. When his concubine had awoken him and murmured to his ear, "The Queen Mother is calling for you," he took flight having no time to put on the costume of the court, except the officer's helmet. He fell to his knee. He fell to his knees in front of her, ready to clamor 10,000 years of longevity. She had a light smile and waved her hand. Prostration is dispensed. It was a favor long accorded to him alone. Where are things now? Your Highness, he mumbled, 1,000 excuses. We have not left any inch of land unturned, but no trace of ɪ'mɪn was found. Where did you search? The whole region, Your Highness, from Khunssơn to its farthest limits, mountains and forests, whenever Nguyễn Trái and Mẫn had relatives. She angrily struck on the arm of the chair, and in a mocking tone, she said, vain efforts. You are running after rats instead of pursuing the wife of a rebel. Listen, pull out your troops from Khunssơn and its surroundings. Make investigation in the district of Nam Sơn. She kept silence for a moment, then she hissed between her teeth. Tell your officers and men that they are good for nothings, that I gave you all 10 days more, and that you should not complain about the Queen's mother's cruelty if you do not succeed in capturing the tramp. Have you understood? Accomplish your mission. After a profound bow, Tạ Thành disappeared back into the tunnel. She cozily nestled back in her chair, absorbed in reflections and calculation. The tramp will be delivered soon, but will she give birth to a boy or an heir of Nguyễn Trái? We must extirpate the grass down to the roots. Good. Still another formal order to Tạ Thành. Capture the woman alive. If it is inconvenient, then kill her, as she and her photos, on the condition that an exhibit must be brought back. This idea fully gratified her, and she stood up. The sleeve of her tunic swept the bowl of ginseng to the marble floor, where it broke to pieces. Frightened out of wits, the two maids were petrified, immobile on their knees, the tray on their heads. They felt a multitude of eyes lit in the palace, with strangely dazzling pupil, dilated and rolling incessantly. And these peculiar icy looks were piercing their shoulders, their necks, their backs, and their pitiable fate. Oh my goodness, this is such a hard part to read. I think I have to check more words. So many new vocabularies here. Let me see. Maybe I will read another part. 60 miles away from the capital in the southeast, in the district of Sơn Nam, on the right bank of the Đáy River, lay a village named Đoạn. The population was small, but the soil was fertile, and the people lived off the land. The richest villager, in addition to his mulberry fields, also had a large orchard. At the time the Emperor Lê Thái Tông, on the occasion of the New Year festival of that year, he offered to the throne a magnificent kumquat plant. When the Anh ate a fruit and praised its excellent taste, she developed a quite outrageous idea. All the inhabitants were to be removed, all the lands of the rich man confiscated, and the village planted with kumquat plants. Without the energetic intervention of Nguyễn Trãi, this beautiful village would have retained only its name. Later on in her flight, unfortunate Dame ɪ.ʃɪŋ was stranded here. The villagers had known her. Being profoundly grateful to Nguyễn Trãi, they unanimously decided, at any price, to protect her and to give her refuge. The rich man had heard the rumors, and he dispatched an informer to the court. The news of the forthcoming arrival of Dat Han's troops were revealed like a lightning bolt. The village chef sounded the tocsin to the convened men and women, to a grotto for an urgent meeting. In strict secrecy, a solemn ceremony was held to take oaths and to discuss measures aimed at safeguarding Madame Mẫn. We shall install her in the grotto and organize a supply of food. No, our village had only a small mountain with a single grotto. It is too easy to locate and to search. They would catch Madame Mẫn easily. We swore to our gods to save the infant of our great benefactor. Right, well said. Well said. Let's think of other ways. I have a sibling in Thiên Trường. It is a safe place. I'll bring her there. The national highway goes through Thiên Trường. Traffic is heavy, and it is heavily patrolled. Is your sibling trustworthy? Hot discussion, but no plausible expedient was obtained. At last, the village chef proposed. I know a person who can surely bring our affair to success. Many voices were noisily heard. Who? Who is your savior? Excuse me, I cannot tell his name. I'll go myself to meet him, and he will be responsible for everything else, on one condition. What condition? We shall strictly abide by it. Good, in the few days when I'm absent, if that hand comes, please do this exactly as I have told you. Okay, I think I'm done for this part. This is such hard part. I will have to do more research on the vocabularies for today. And thank you for listening. I will read the next part tomorrow. Hopefully I can finish the story this week.